A carry law change can turn your normal drive, your family trip, or your Sunday stop into a criminal case fast. And the worst part is this. A lot of gun owners still think their permit, or permitless carry, covers places that now got added, removed, or changed. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed yet? Because these carry rules shift faster than most people realize, and one bad assumption about where you can carry can wreck your life. Hit that subscribe button now and stay ahead of the next update before it catches you off guard. Let's get right into it. I'm walking you through 5 gun law updates that took effect and could change where you can legally carry. Some of these updates make carry more restrictive. Some open up places that used to be off limits. And some are the kind of narrow, weird, technical change that people laugh off right up until they get arrested. So don't make that mistake. First update, California got tougher in March of 2025 when more sensitive place restrictions became enforceable again. Here's what just happened. California already had a long list of places where even licensed concealed carriers could not carry. Then, after court fights, 9 more locations became enforceable again. That means if you have a California carry license or you're thinking about carrying there, you now have to think a lot harder about everyday places. What kind of places are we talking about? Bars and restaurants that serve alcohol, parks, playgrounds, youth centers, stadiums, arenas, public libraries, amusement parks, zoos, museums, casinos, even related parking areas in many of those places. Let me break this down for you. A lot of people here I'm not drinking and think they're safe carrying into a restaurant. Not in a rule set like this. The location matters, not just what you personally do. Imagine you stop for lunch on a road trip, you order iced tea, your gun stays concealed, you never touch it. Most people think, no problem, I'm being responsible. But if that restaurant serves alcohol, that assumption can be dead wrong in a place like California. Same thing if you walk your kid through a park, head to a game, or step into a library. Those regular boring places can become legal traps. But here's the crazy part. Not every California sensitive place rule is fully in effect the same way. Some locations stayed tied up in court. So if you rely on old internet advice, or even advice from a friend who goes there all the time, you can end up using outdated information. That is how people get burned. They think gun law is one giant yes or no answer. It's not. It's often one building yes, the parking lot, no, the sidewalk maybe, and the next block something else. Here's what most people get wrong. They focus only on whether they have a permit. But in states with heavy location rules, the permit is only step 1. The real question is where your feet are standing. If you travel to California or already live there, this update matters more than most people understand. Second update, Wyoming moved in the opposite direction on July 1st, 2025. This one shocked a lot of people because it did not just tweak a form or change a fee, it changed locations. Wyoming's repeal of gun-free zones opened more places to concealed carry, including many public buildings and government meetings. That is a huge shift. Now, this is where it gets interesting. A lot of headlines made it sound like Wyoming just said carry everywhere. That's not the full story. The law opened doors, yes, but it also kept important limits. Private property owners can still restrict firearms. Other laws can still block carry in certain facilities. And places tied to health services, corrections, or explosive materials still have restrictions. And here's the part nobody's talking about enough. The school and college piece is not just a free-for-all. In Wyoming, some school and college locations are tied to permit-based carry rules, plus training and storage requirements in certain situations. So if somebody tells you, hey, schools are wide open now, slow down, that kind of half-true advice can get you into serious trouble. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. Say you're a Wyoming permit holder and you attend a public school event on public property where no alcohol is sold. That may be very different from showing up at another school setting without understanding the exact rule, the local policy, or whether the place falls under one of the exceptions. Same state, same gun owner. Totally different legal outcome. This is a perfect example of why more gun-friendly does not mean no homework required. A state can expand carry rights and still leave landmines everywhere for people who skim headlines. If you live in Wyoming, visit Wyoming, or send your kids to school there, you need to know the difference between a public building, a school facility, a meeting, and a private property rule. Those details matter. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video about the exact words that can protect you when an officer asks about your gun during a traffic stop. Subscribe now so you don't miss it, because knowing the law is only half the battle. Knowing what to say matters too. Third update, Louisiana made a change, effective August 1st, 2025, that could affect how people think about school areas and certain permits. This one is easy to miss because it sounds small, but don't tune out. Small wording changes are often the most dangerous ones. Here's what happened. Louisiana changed the definition of school for parts of its weapon laws so that a privately owned vocational technical school is not included in that definition. On top of that, the state also added language saying the school property restriction does not apply to a person with a concealed handgun permit from a state that has reciprocity with Louisiana, or to a person carrying under other existing Louisiana law. Let me explain why this matters. Most people hear school rule and think every place with classrooms gets treated the same. That is not always true. A private VOTEC campus may not be treated the same way as a public elementary school, and out-of-state permit holders from reciprocal states may have more protection than they think, or less, if they assume the rule is broader than it really is. Imagine you're traveling into Louisiana with a permit from a state Louisiana recognizes. You stop near a school-related property and assume the area is always completely off limits. Maybe it is. Maybe it is not. The point is, the answer now depends more on what kind of property it is, which law section applies, and whether your permit falls under reciprocity. That means the old shortcut rule of never, ever, anywhere near any school-type property may no longer give you the full picture. But wait, there's something even more important. A narrower definition in one state statute does not magically erase every other state or federal restriction. That is where people mess up. They hear private VOTEC schools are treated differently and suddenly act like every education property is open season. Wrong. You still have to check the exact place, the exact statute, and any other law stacked on top of it. Now, quick legal note. This is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation. Fourth update, North Carolina. Change effective December 1st, 2025. Could matter a lot if you deal with private schools or church property. And this is the kind of update that can confuse even careful gun owners because it mixes school rules, church rules, permits, training, and written permission all in one package. Here's what just changed. North Carolina now allows certain employees and volunteers at non-public schools to carry firearms or stun guns on school property, but only if they meet strict conditions. They need written authorization, they need a concealed handgun permit, they need extra training every year, and the school has to keep written procedures in place. That alone is a big shift. But there's another piece. If a property is both a school and a place of worship, a permit holder may be able to carry there outside school operating hours or inside the worship building during services and related religious events. That is a very specific rule. And if you miss one part of it, you can go from legal to illegal fast. Think about a Sunday service in a church that also runs a school Monday through Friday. Most people see one building. The law may see two different uses with two different time windows. If you carry there during worship services, that may be one thing. If you are there during school hours, that may be another. If the people in control of the premises post notice against it, that changes things again. Here's what most people get wrong. They hear church carry is allowed and stop reading. But timing matters. Location inside the property matters. Whether it is public or non-public school property matters. Whether you are an authorized employee, a volunteer, or just a regular permit holder matters. This is not a one-size-fits-all rule. And this is the part that shocked me. The law does not just reward good intentions. It rewards precise compliance. You can be a responsible gun owner trying to protect your family and still get jammed up if you ignore the written authorization piece or the school hours piece. That is why this update matters so much. Hey, 73% of people watching videos like this are not subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the gun owners who stay on top of these changes before they become a problem. Hit subscribe right now because the law does not care whether you meant well. It cares whether you were legal. Fifth update, California changed again on January 1st, 2026 with AB 1078, and this one matters for travelers. A lot. Most people think California is simple on one point. If you're not a California resident, good luck. But here's the part nobody saw coming. The law now creates a process for non-residents to apply for a California carry license if they meet the state's requirements. That does not mean California suddenly became easy. Not even close. You still have to meet the application rules. You still have to list the handguns you want on the license. Those guns still have to be lawful in California, and you still have to understand the state's long list of sensitive places where carry can be banned. But for people who travel into California often, this is a major change, because it turns a flat no into a maybe if you do this the right way. Let me break this down for you with a hypothetical. Say you live in Arizona, Nevada, or Texas, and you travel into California for work, family, or hunting trips. Before, you may have assumed there was basically no path to lawful licensed carry there. Now there is a path. But if you think that means you can just drive in with your usual setup and carry like you do at home, that is how you get in trouble. And there's one more twist. This California update also made it clear that an unloaded firearm may be transported on a bus, train, or other public transportation property if it is locked in a lockbox. Notice the word transported. Not carried loaded on your hip, not casually stuffed in a bag, locked up. unloaded. That distinction matters. So here is the big lesson from this 5th update. Some laws expand access, others expand restrictions. And sometimes they do both at once. California can say more people may apply while also saying here are many places you still cannot carry. If you only hear the first half, you are setting yourself up for failure. Laws change fast, really fast. And if you wait until your next road trip, your next church visit, or your next school event to look this up, you may already be too late. Subscribe now because the next update could hit before your next carry decision, and I want you prepared before that moment comes. So what is the key takeaway? Simple. Stop asking only, can I carry? Start asking, can I carry here on this day, in this exact part of this property, under this exact rule? That one habit will save you more trouble. If this video helped you protect your rights, your record, and your future, do me a favor and subscribe right now. Share this with one gun owner who still thinks old rules are still the rules. And remember, laws change by state, by location, and sometimes by the month.